in 2017, a company sold you a $60 Star Wars game, then they put Darth Vader behind a paywall. In a Star Wars game, Darth Vader, the guy on the box. If you wanted to actually play as him, that was about 80 bucks on top of the 60 you already paid. Or if you wanted to earn him the honest way, roughly 40 hours of grinding per character. And when people online did the math and worked out that unlocking everything in that game would run you somewhere around $2,100 or 4,500 hours of your life, the company went on Reddit to explain itself. They said, and I want you to sit with this, they said the intent was to give players a sense of pride and accomplishment. That comment is in the Guinness Book of World Records now, most downvoted comment in the history of the internet. 683,000 people clicked the little arrow. Second place isn't even in the same building. And everybody pointed at that and went, classic EA, what a disaster. Sure, it was. But I wasn't mad at EA that day. I was mad at myself because that was the day I finally admitted something I'd been dodging for about a decade. I didn't love Star Wars anymore. And I'm going to tell you the exact moment it actually died for me because it wasn't the new movies. It was way before that. So let me back up. Disney buys Lucasfilm for $4 billion. Fine. It's Star Wars. It was always getting bought by somebody. Disney does two things in basically the same week. First, they shut down LucasArts, the studio that made the good games. The Knights of the Old Republic people, the Jedi Knight people, killed it. Canceled a game called 1313 that everyone actually wanted to play. And then they hand the entire galaxy to EA, every Star Wars game, console, PC, one company, 10 years exclusive. Sit with that for a second. The biggest entertainment property on the planet, a universe that up to that point had hundreds of games across every genre you can name, flight sims, RPG, strategy games, racing, the weird Connect one we don't talk about. And Disney looked at all of that and went, you know what? Let's give it to one publisher and let them decide what gets made. So what did we get in 10 years? 4 games. 4. 2 Battlefronts, one of which tried to sell you Vader, Jedi Fallen Order, which was genuinely good, credit where it's due, and Squadrons, which they quietly dropped at 40 bucks and then they never touched again. That's the output. A decade of the most valuable sci-fi franchise ever made, run by one company, and the headline achievement is a world record for being hated. And they canceled at least 3 other Star Wars games during that stretch, including an open world one from the Dead Space studio that, by every account, would have been incredible. Shelved, gone. You had the keys to the entire galaxy, you made 4 cars, one of them was on fire, and you crashed 3 more in the garage before anybody ever saw them. It got so bad, and I mean this literally, that they ripped the microtransactions out of Battlefront 2 the night before it launched, hours before. They built the whole game around a slot machine, and then panic pulled the lever in the dark because the backlash was that loud. Belgium looked at this game and went, hold on, kids paying real money for random rewards? That's gambling. The Netherlands said the same thing. The UK Parliament held actual hearings. Lawmakers in multiple countries looked at a Star Wars game and decided they might need to regulate it. That's where we were. Now, you could watch all that and go, man, EA fumbled the bag, and they did. But that's not the part that got me. The part that got me is why the deal existed in the first place. Disney didn't give EA the Galaxy because EA makes great games. Disney gave EA the Galaxy because exclusivity is worth more than quality. If you're the only place that thing can come from, you don't have to be good, you just have to be the only door. That's the whole move. That's not a Star Wars thing, that's a Monopoly thing. You lock up the supply and then the quality becomes optional because where else are you gonna go? You want a Star Wars shooter? There's one. You want a Star Wars anything? Better hope they felt like making it this fiscal year. And once I saw that pattern in the games, I couldn't stop seeing it everywhere else. Because Disney didn't just do this to the games, they did it to the stories. April 2014, you probably don't remember this one. Most people don't. Lucasfilm gets up and announced that the expanded universe, 30 years of novels and comics, hundreds of them, this whole sprawling galaxy that millions of us grew up inside, none of it counts anymore. Decanonized, overnight, rebranded, legends, which is a real cute word for we're not going to honor any of this. Thrawn, the Solo Kids, Mara Jade, the entire timeline after Return of the Jedi that I read in paperback under the covers, poof, didn't happen. And nobody really said this part out loud. That was an inventory decision. That's a company looking at a 30-year story and going, this is in the way of the product we want to ship. Clear it. That was 2014. The Force Awakens didn't come out until the end of 2015. So when somebody tells you the fans turned on Star Wars because of Rey or The Last Jedi or whatever this week's discourse is, no. For a lot of us, it was already over. The movies were just the part you could see. Let me actually be real for a minute because I don't want this to be just another dunk video. When I was a kid, Star Wars wasn't a brand. It was 3 movies and a shoebox of action figures with the paint chewed off and an imagination that filled in everything the movies didn't show you. The galaxy felt infinite, specifically because nobody owned the parts you made up in your own head. You'd play in the backyard and invent a Jedi nobody approved. You'd read one of those EU books and the universe got bigger, not because some executive greenlit it, but because somebody loved it enough to write it. That's the thing I lost, not the movies. The movies are fine, some good, some bad, whatever. I lost the feeling that this thing belonged to the people who loved it. Somewhere along the way, it stopped being a galaxy and turned into a portfolio. Every corner of it got a price tag. The story got a content calendar. The games got a single landlord. And the one magic trick of being a kid, that the universe was bigger than anyone could ever sell you, they figured out how to sell you that too. And I think about a 12-year-old getting into Star Wars right now. The version they get isn't a shoebox and imagination, it's a subscription. It's 9 movies, 12 shows, a release schedule, what order do I watch this in flowchart, and a game that wants $80 for the guy on the poster. That kid never gets to own it. It was rented to them on arrival. That's the part that actually bums me out, not the bad sequels. The fact that the door quietly closed and most of us didn't even hear it click. Okay, so putting the bit back on. So how'd the monopoly end? Did Disney have some big realization about creative freedom and the soul of art? No, the deal just ran out. The clock hit zero around 2021. Disney looked at 4 games in 10 years, decided not to re-up it, and started handing pieces of the galaxy to other studios instead. So now we've got Ubisoft's open world one, Outlaws, which came out, was fine, sold okay. And then Ubisoft reportedly canceled the sequel anyway. There's an XCOM style strategy game on the way, a Knights of the Old Republic remake that's been in development so long it's basically a folk legend, a pod racing game, a handful of other things that may or may not exist, depending on which quarter you ask. More games, more studios, which is genuinely better. The galaxy's got more than one door now. I won't pretend it doesn't. But my favorite detail in this entire saga, the one that actually gets to me, is this: that Battlefront 2, the Vader paywall one, the most hated comment in internet history one, the players never left it. It's 2026 and that game is still getting new content. The company that built it walked away years ago, and the people who loved it just kept the war going without them, which is the whole thing, isn't it? That's Star Wars in one sentence. A bunch of people loving something way more than the company that owns it ever did. But where I land is this: I'm not telling you to quit Star Wars. If the new stuff makes you happy, genuinely, no sarcasm, I'm glad. Go enjoy it. I'm just done pretending the magic and the merchandising are the same thing. They sold me the galaxy back to me one piece at a time, and somewhere in there I stopped recognizing it. If this video found you on your lunch break pretending to look busy, do me a favor and drop a like. It tells the algorithm I'm not insane, and I actually want to know down in the comments, what's the franchise you fell out of love with, and what was the exact moment you knew? Not the movie you hated, the moment you realized the thing you loved was being run by people who saw it as a spreadsheet. I'll read them. Take care of yourselves, watch your posture, and don't let the grind break you. Peace, Cyler, out.